No, but given
there's no choice.
Saudi Arabia has
and
the
look at
energy.
the kind
Saudi
of
Arabia
cities
has
that
the
they are
money.
building. Look at how they're trying to pivot to a post-fossil fuel world. Born on 31st of August 1985, it was in June 2017 that Mohammed bin Salman, the son of King Salman, was appointed as the heir and chosen.
His Royal Highness.
He's working very hard on a Vision 2030, which is Saudi Arabia's vision for the future. He'd come to India in February 2019 last.
And there's all this talk of possibly in the future, this is what was told to me by a cricket official, don't be surprised in the next 5 or 10 years we have an overseas version of the IPL on this luxury island that they are building in Saudi Arabia, which they're going to showcase.
They've taken all the footballers already.
That's right. So the Sindala Island.
Oh, look at that. Warm handshake, big warm jappi to the Saudi Arabian prince. Prime Minister Modi's got his top game on. Look at that. He's also smiling very happily for the cameras. The Saudi prince and now Prime Minister Modi walking out as well. Chalo, ho gaya. Now let's get the
big photo op now, Rahul. All of the leaders. I think there's a
is that before or after? Now. Is that before or after?
I think there's one before. I think there's one before and there's one later, at least as far as the.
So the first one trip would be indoors,
I think so.
Where they would have just before they start the meeting, and then you have an outdoor. Surely you'll have one before that lovely Konark magic backdrop. That would be the ideal one to have.
Let's spend a moment discussing who had what kind of a welcome. Okay, so who do you think got the warmest welcome? For me, Rishi Sunak got a really warm welcome. The Saudi prince got a warm welcome. The Chinese premier got the most frosty
Meloni
welcome.
also had a nice welcome.
Oh, of course. Meloni had a lovely welcome. Yes.
Multiple taps on the shoulder and big smiles.
Mutual admiration.
Rishi Sunak had probably the sort of longest conversation was there between Sunak.
But he showed the Konark wheel only to the American
president. Only to the American, which is, I guess where all at the end of the day the dollar, the dollar still matters. I mean, yes, it was. I thought he'd do that for every leader to explain to them. Hopefully he'll do it at the end. Hopefully he'll do it at the end.
The one thing, when you meet Prime Minister Modi and interact with his officials, the one thing you realize is how particular he is about time management. I mean, obsessive, especially given the proclivity of a lot of our leaders not to mind time quite as much. His ability to keep things going. So he's his own time manager as well, keeping things moving. There he is on one part of our screen explaining the Konark wheel to American President Joe Biden, and then that namaste with Rishi Sunak. Very warm welcome to both of them. Frostiest welcome, of course, to the Chinese premier, and then to Justin Trudeau.
But not really frosty also, Rahul. I mean,
relatively
it was compared to the rest.
Yes, it was correct to the Chinese.
Yeah. It was proprietary.
It was formal to the Turkish, and I think the Canadian deserved to be kicked, but Mr. Modi was polite.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, you are host.
India playing the perfect host. Absolutely.
I mean, at the end of the day, whether you have disagreements on specific issues, and there will be disagreements.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot avoid the fact that these are your guests, you are the host, and you've gone into the world and said one family. And once you say one family, you can't say, I'm not going to,
No, India is bigger than those individual issues.
That's right. I think, and I think the Prime Minister is playing the perfect host. So I'm not going to read too much into the fact that it's frosty. I think it's just the Prime Minister being very clear.
Frosty compared to the others.
Compared to the others.
So, which is only expected. I mean, you can't do a jappi with the Turkish president given all that he's done. So I think he's being very business-like and formal and being appropriate. And also reflecting through, and Jaishankar speaks a lot about this, that every nuance of body language is an important part of foreign affairs, and it reflects the warmth of your relations with your country, and that's just the way it is. So when you meet Justin Trudeau, given all that's happened on the issue of Khalistan inside Canada, I think that element comes out. You can't keep it hidden. And a very warm namaste with Rishi Sunak, Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, being met with very, very fondly as well.